Modern Lords podcast.
Welcome to the Lord's Minute, our quick hit video series where we break down all the biggest happenings in gaming and beyond. I'm your host, Ty Swinson, here again with Lord King. And last time we talked about the colliding multiverse when it comes to Spider Man and the MCU. Lo and behold, we just got our first look at the sequel to Spider Man Into the Spider Verse. Lord King, what are we thinking about this trailer?
Um, it was a lot of questions. Why is 2099 tackling him?
Right.
Why was he on punishment? Why is women always making guys do bad choices?
just sneak out of your room, Miles.
Yeah, and what she did was put logic to it because he is a split personality, actually. So she's like, well, Miles is on punishment. Is Spider-Man on punishment? Type of thing. I'm like, oh, buddy, it took me back to my youth, this guy here. Not that I'm Spider-Man. But oh, spoiler. But I can't wait to see more. It looked like the art direction changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they went into the future, because 2099 is in the future, so I guess some of the art direction did change because the lines are cleaner. The world is vibrant but solid, but the new world that they showed was a little bit more pastel, a little less defined, a little bit more blurry. The characters themselves was defined. So I don't know if that's because the stuff is in pre-production and the trailer that they did have available wasn't represented of exactly the final product. So I don't know, but we know so far that 2099 is there. We don't know what's happening with that. We know Gwen is there and Miles. So we don't know if Spider-Ham is there. We don't know if any of the other characters will be represented in this film. So
right, yeah, it was very interesting. Again, like you said, I like kind of the new art style that's going for. Clearly, Miles and Gwen are more mature compared to when we last saw them. The sequence of when we saw the apprehension and conflict between Spider-Man 2099 and Miles, I really like that it showed off Miles in the beginning doing that classic 2099 dive through the city to get around. That was very cool. A very great callback to the comics. And as far as Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, the last time we saw, he was in the post-credit scene of the previous movie. We saw that for some reason he needed to go around and try to recruit these other Spider-Mans and Spider-Women, but we don't know why. We see Gwen pop into Miles' room, and she has the device that 2099 had on his wrist to traverse.
Right.
As far as why, we don't know.
Do you think it's going to take the darker turn of the Spideyverse books, where the Spider Hunters are after each Spider-Man in each timeline and killing them off? Because I don't know if this would take a more mature tone to it. Well, one, I don't like the fact that he's still listening to the same song.
Literally exact frame for frame from the last movie.
So hopefully he updates his soundtrack. But I can't do another Post Malone. But I think though, if it does take the darker edge of it, then we can get a lot more Spider-Men, because Spider-Men and Spider-Women in these multiverse.
Right.
We're going to see more of them, because I guess in comic book form, in a cartoon form, you don't have to worry about what they would do in real life movies, right? So getting all these actors doing all these scenes and stuff like that, you can actually get this stuff down. Not saying that it's easier. What I'm saying that it's easier to facilitate opposed to having live action, so they can actually do an actually Spideyverse movie where they can have multiple Spider-Men from multiple genres. You know, we can get Ben Reilly, we can get Kane, we can get other characters that are Spider-Man, clones of Spider-Man. We can get the Doc Ock Spider-Man, you know, the Sinister Spider. It's a lot of different things that we can get from this. We can get Spider-Woman from 2099, you know, get Spider-Girl. It's
Hmm.
different characters that we can get, and we can also get the Spider Hunters with actually going from time to time killing spiders. We can get Madam Web. It's a whole bunch of stuff that we can get. And show the depth of the Marvel universe, because I thought the first Miles Morales movie was a trial.
Hmm.
They were capitalizing on the character itself and how it took over the comic book world, because like just the same way the comic book was a trial and
Hmm.
it just blew up, the movie did the same, and then it also transferred over to video games, where we see that the world is accepting of Latino Black Spider-Man, a Spider-Man
Right.
of a different color, uh, and and it's rich, right? So he's able to grow, and what I didn't like at first was they were like kind of pushing Peter to the side to capitalize on this, but they found a nice medium into that Spideyverse movie and the
Hmm.
Spideyverse comic books, where they coexist. That you didn't have to kill off one, because in the Ultimate Universe they actually kill off Peter Parker,
Yep.
and they found out that was a bad dynamic. So when they merged the worlds with Battle World and Spider-Man, you know, the 616 merged with the Ultimate Universe, um, that actually helped the Spidey story. So you had Miles and Peter actually having this dynamic where one is teaching one how to be Spider-Man without stepping on his toes and allowing him to be. So I hope that is more so here, that we get a chance to see more of those Spider-Men and clones and different stories
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Because my personal best Spider-Man is Ben Reilly, the clone,
Yeah.
the Scarlet Spider. So I love the suit. I love everything about that character, and I would like to see more. And then I would like to see how Kane is introduced to that aspect of it. So, and 2099, love him. He's totally different from how everybody else became Spider-Man. So it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, and I was also thinking about Madam Web as the last new trailer dropped.
Yes.
And with this new trailer, we saw at the very end when we got that title card, we also then got a part one added. So this is setting up to build upon a greater narrative. Like you said, we could really get a larger overarching storyline, especially since we don't know why it's important of this mission of 2099 to go to these other multiverses and seek out these other Spider-Men and Spider-Women. Um, as far as how long it's going to take in between installments, who knows? It hasn't been that much time since the first movie came out
Yeah.
in 2018, and now we are getting the next movie next year in 2022. Might be a
four
part two, might be
years.
a part three. So, do you now? There's a lot of fans that are having some crazy theories. Some are speculating that this could possibly lead to some type of tangent connection to the MCU. I personally don't see that, but I do
No.
wonder, do you think that with this new movie series launching off, does this affect in any way the MCU plans or and Miles or Gwen to appear in live action?
At some point in time, they will, because what Sony is doing is Sony is building and fortifying their stable. Sony is allowing you to understand that Spider-Man will never be relinquished back to the Marvel Universe.
Hmm.
I think it was a blessing and a curse that Marvel helped them resurrect the Spider-Man franchise, where I didn't really think that the Spider-Man franchise was in such disrepair, because I love Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
True, true.
The tragedy that happened with that whole stuff just didn't go well. But now that we have Tom Holland and the MCU helping him become greater, if it's even possible, as the most recognizable character in the Marvel universe.
Hmm.
Sony won't let that go. So I don't see Miles and Gwen or any of those characters actually making the leap to the MCU right now at any point in time. Actually,
Hmm.
what I do see is them fleshing out these characters inside the Spideyverse, and working with that, once they build that up, then they will bring them to their Spidey world in live action. So you probably get the 3 films,
Hmm.
and then they will explore possibilities to see where Morbius goes, to see where Venom goes when he meets Spider-Man, because right now we have dynamics that hasn't actually met inside the live action. Like, we're actually going to get Tom Holland and the Green Goblin on the same screen, where
Hmm.
classic Nemesis is actually meeting somebody that actually hated him, but he doesn't know why. So
Hmm.
these are new dynamics that they're exploring now. So we're probably at least 6 movies away from Miles Morales making a live action view, and then we have to worry about Spidey Gwen and stuff like that. So
Yep, yeah, that is pretty realistic. I think you're right on the money. It's going to be some time before we see Miles, let alone Spider-Gwen. Those two are probably top tier picks for me as far as the other Spider variants throughout the Spider-Verse, but we're gonna have to take some time. At least on the Sony animated end, we're getting these great movies as they're being fleshed out in the Across the Spider-Verse franchise.
yeah,
But this has been the Lord's Minute. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at lordsofgaming.net. I'm Ty Swinson, here with Lord King, and this has been the Lord's Minute.
peace.